All right. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It is Brad and myself. It is our seventh episode doing this together, so almost 2 months, which sounds pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Honestly,
what went by quick.
it went by really quick, and yeah, it's been kind of a crazy week for me. Just I did some stuff over the weekend and wasn't able to do any content on the past show. And some sad news. I think I found out yesterday. Um, our good friend Empire Comics has passed away. I saw a lot of just kind of dedications and kind of shout outs to him and all that. So I know he was a pretty big member of our personal hobby and whatnot, and was really sad. I think you were a little bit closer to him than I was, but yeah, man. What do you what are your
It
thoughts
was
on? I mean,
heavy. It's just heavy, man. Like I found out last night, and then I messaged you on Instagram when I found out because I knew you
yeah,
knew him,
yeah,
but I was like, where? Like, I guess the first thing was trying to make sure you didn't. I think that's why a lot of people didn't say anything. We just wanted to make sure it was off. Like we didn't know who was posting that. Um, we didn't know who was posting the message. So, but once it started, they realized it was actually his oldest daughter who posted that.
oh,
Um,
geez, I had no idea.
yeah. So, if you go back and double check. Juliana, I think is her name, and she
Uh-huh.
posted in that same community tab and
Okay.
said, "Hey, I don't know if y'all will see this, but I'm Empire's oldest daughter. I'm the one who posted the original message." And she said she wanted to like carry on his legacy. So I was like, I totally encourage you. Yeah, I hope you do. I mean, you'll have all the support in the world from the community because that's exactly what your dad did, was leave a legacy. So it was just
Sure.
heavy, man. I found out kind of late last night, and I messaged you, and I
Yeah.
just I just couldn't get it out of my head. It was just what's up, Brian LCS? Um, I just couldn't get it out of my head. Brian's the one who texted me and told me. So I just couldn't get it out of my head. So I had plans to go to the gym. I was trying, every week I'm like, start back. Let's get back to the
Yeah.
gym and stuff. And I had plans to go this morning, but I just didn't want to go to sleep because my mind was just racing. So I was just hopping on like whatever random show I could find, and just to like try to decompress a little bit because it was just really heavy. So yeah, shout out to prayers and love to his family. And of course, if you guys need anything, and I know a number of people mentioned it, Brian mentioned it, if you guys need anything, please let us know. We're here to here to support our brother, and his memory will live on.
Yeah. No, I felt like I got a little bit we got more and more contact on a hobby level and a personal level. I want to say like around December and January. I noticed he's trying to get the elusive 1,000 subscriber kind of deal, and he'd been doing it for 3 years, so or maybe more than three. But I I hit him up. I was like, hey man, like, I'll definitely try and help you out. You have a way bigger, kind of network than me. I'm kind of this Discord, and he joined the OTR Discord that we had, or we have currently, and he was like, "What's a Discord, man?" I was like, "Dude, call me. Like, I'll walk you through. I want you to get to 1,000." And he finally got there, and I was really happy for him. Like I've never met the guy, I've never talked to him on the phone or anything like that, but we've mutually just supported each other through our channels and our other kind of hobbies and stuff. And so it was. I mean, there's nothing really to say, but it sucks. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
and yeah,
he's not the first community member we've lost, and that says it all there, Brian. A gut punch for sure, but he's not the first community member we've lost, but he's the one that I've known the best that we've lost. So it just kind of
yeah,
and just like you know unexpected. I mean, he wasn't dealing with any
Mm-mm.
health issues that I know of. So, and just feel for the
Family.
his kids and stuff. So, but me
Yeah.
and Brian, I think Brian was on too. We did the his 1,000
Yeah.
subscriber
His 1,000
extravaganza.
subscriber giveaway. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I
we were
missed
on
it.
the panel.
I was working or I was doing something. No, it was like I had a family thing going on that day. And I remember I was like, damn it, I missed Brad and Empire. And I didn't know Brian that well at the time, but I remember like seeing the panel. I was like, damn, he's got some dudes that like I really enjoy, on
Yeah,
YouTube and whatever. So
so
anyway, I
it
just want
says
to
a
take a
lot
little.
about it says a lot about him as a person. Yeah,
Sure, yeah,
yeah.
definitely a different like range of people too, which was really cool. So, but yeah, I just wanted to take a couple of minutes just to kind of say a little shout out to him, and I'm sure we'll do on the OTR show tomorrow. And then Pickles actually was the one that told me about it yesterday, and actually like simultaneously you'd messaged me too. So we'll probably do a little shout out to him on Saturday. And I know it's a little early in the kind of stages there, but definitely want to arrange some type of like I don't know, donation or just some type of financial help with the family and whatnot. So but it sucks. It just sucks to lose a friend, especially someone who kind of you share that passion with. It just really sucks. And like I said, like I was just getting to really kind of know him. I felt like kind of like just texting back and forth and stuff. So it just sucks, man. So
Type of
anyway,
person that makes you feel special, like you've known him
sure,
longer than you really have.
yeah,
That's kind of the kind of guy he seemed to be. So that was a gift for sure, and gone too soon. But yeah,
definitely
I
got to.
appreciate. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. I think we definitely need to acknowledge that. So
Definitely. All right. Well, all right. Well, let's get into the slides and all that stuff. And yeah, man, we'll be thinking about Empire for the near future for sure. So
yeah,
let's see here. Okay. So not a ton of stuff this week. I was looking over just some real estate data that I could bring to the table today, and it was kind of tough just because with the end of the quarter at the end of, coming up this week, it's the productions. It's for me on the mortgage end. It's a lot of just different financing, I guess. Currently, for me, um, not a lot of home sales and not a lot of new applications or inquiries about buying a home over here in the West Coast, or I should say specifically like Seattle, North Seattle. Well, and what about you? Are you seeing more eager clients the past week or so, or is it just kind of the same?
it's it I realized so in light of a lot of the things that we've been talking about, people have formed opinions about what's happening. So we've shifted into education mode, which is the whole reason this Wednesday night thing started, was seeing a
Sure.
necessity to help people like sift through the information, find out what's real, what's accurate, and that kind of thing. So that's what I've been doing. And uh I've realized that it takes it I'm not you and I both have said we're not pushy salespeople types. We want to help people, but I don't want you to look back and regret the having worked with me. So I'm just not going to do that. But um maybe just a gentle nudge or reminder about things. So I had a buyer client. Those are kind of getting a little bit scarce because they're the ones who are on the fence a little bit. But
Yeah.
I had a buyer client that I've been working with, and I hadn't heard from him in about a week, and I figured probably work had been a little busy, so I sent him the group of listings that I've been sending him. I sent him two that I thought were really good potential listings, and he saw them and he was like, "Yeah, that's cool. Can we go see him?" So I was like, "Sure." But if I hadn't done that, then I wouldn't have scheduled those appointments yesterday, and we wrote an offer on one and it got accepted today. So
Oh,
it's
sweet.
like, yeah. So when I get to my segment, I use exact. So just so you guys know, if you're watching live, if you're watching on the, what's up, man? If you're watching live, if you're watching on the rewind, like we really use the tactics that we're sharing you. We use the information. I mean, this isn't, we fully believe in what we're telling you. So we use it. We're giving it to you from the heart. So I'll talk a little bit. I'll go into detail about that a little bit when we get to the real estate segment down the line. But yeah, I employed some of the same tactics and it worked great. And we ended up with I've sent it to him. He's got initial a couple things, but should have a ratified contract here in a bit. So that's really
Ah,
good. But
that's
that's what
awesome,
I'm
man.
seeing is like taking that, that kind of hey, well, you text somebody a couple of listings, they're like, oh, well, he's working behind, my mind's not in it right now, but he's working behind the scenes to kind of find something for me. So I think people take that the way the right way, the way you intend it.
No, that's great. I mean, I think I think a majority of people, at least the kind of feeling I get is um, there's there's just a lot of a lot of people are just trying to figure out what they feel comfortable with. And so the longer that you kind of keep in touch with people, just kind of check up on them and just say, hey, like, and I'd rather work with someone that feels in control of the situation, whether that be I don't mind renting, but it'd be nice to buy a house, or like I I hate to pressure someone into buying a house because they're fearful their income's not going to be able to take another rent increase. That's one thing I always think about, especially lately, because of rising home prices. And then like my past clients, like how do they feel in their house? So I did a lot of touch bases with people, like, hey, just it's been like a few months since your home loan closed or your home purchase has gone. Is like, is everything going okay? Like, any unfounded repairs that you need to do? Like, I can help out. Even though I can't really help you out finance wise, or maybe I can. At least I can get you over to someone reputable that will fix a whatever. And it's kind of like that's kind of what's going on lately with me, and that's fine. It's slow. There's parts of it obviously that like makes me a little nervous on the the job end. However, it also it also helps you kind of figure out like, oh, this is the way I gotta slide this way, and maybe focus on other things and bring different types of information to people like we do on the show. And we got four alive. I do appreciate Brian coming through. Captain Obvious in North Carolina, thanks so much. um, please hit that like, subscribe button, all that good stuff, and we'll get into the show right now. But enough about mortgages. Let's get back into some more fun stuff. So this week, I'm going to talk about some food stocks. And the reason I wanted to do this was because inflation's been the big topic for the past, oh gosh, year and a half, however it is. Rising fuel prices, people still got to put, gas in the tank, all that. Excuse me. I actually got Uber Eats stuff the other day just to, I had some credit from my credit card. And so I was like, oh, shoot, might as well, do the Uber Eats thing. And I was looking at the bill for two. So me and my wife, and I got a dessert. I think it was like $32, like after my discounts and like tip. So I thought about it and I was like, huh, $32 for a pretty good meal. We stay in, don't have to drive anywhere, and you know, um, versus going to like a sit down place and having to drive there, having to tip a little more, all that. And it made sense for $32. And so I was kind of thinking of like, okay, what are the decisions people are making when they either go out to eat or stay in or whatever. And so I'm highlighting six stocks here that I just thought were interesting, and just kind of what I like to look at as a personal investor. I don't have any of the I don't own any of these stocks. I'm not recommending buying them, but I just thought these were good things to look at when you're looking at companies. That what I look at with companies, and an interest rate sensitive environment and what kind of key things to look at versus like the whole like Rolodex of stuff when the earnings report comes out. So
You know,
two things I most
I've never used Uber Eats.
you never use
I've,
Uber Eats? I
no.
guess living in the city, it was a really nice option, especially it rains here all the time. So it was
Right.
like, well,
Yeah.
what do I
So how
want to
much was
walk
your
or whatever? But
discount? How much was your
so
discount?
I had like a $15 credit for my credit card because American Express gives you what you call it. It gives you like a $15 credit every month, the platinum card. And then I had like $6 left over from something. I'm not sure it was. So it was like 22 bucks in credit. I wouldn't have done it unless I did the credit, but I was just kind of like thinking, oh, was it more worth it to go to the restaurant or was it worth the 30 bucks with tip and all the service fee and all that stuff? It's horrendous, but it was very well worth it. Um,
Well, and by the time you calculate, because if you order pizza, let's say, for example, most of those,
right.
which is, I mean, that's they've always delivered. It's always been a thing.
Right.
Most of those places have a delivery fee, which is not the tip. So,
I know.
you know, oh, there you go,
Right.
Brian. All right,
That's
yeah.
awesome. that's that's like, and you know what's probably gonna go by real quick too, man. Like it's on average, man, for like two people, it's like 50 bucks. It's really expensive. The convenience though is where it's at, and like that's where I was kind of like, huh, why the heck did I do this? But it was only because of the credit. So, um, but yeah, so things I kind of look out for, especially in this environment. Maybe not a lower interest rate environment. I probably look more at growth, but I want to see growth in income and I want to see growth in cash. So the obviously income's like an easy one to go through, but like I feel that if a company is growing from a lower interest rate environment versus a higher interest rate environment, they have that niche. They have that want that people are spending the extra money in this inflationary environment and what have you. So and then cash. Cash is always king, especially in high interest rate environment. Um, whether a company uses that to expand and maybe acquire another company because the only way to grow their company is to acquire another company to fuel that growth or just to survive like a mild quarter to pay expenses and what have you. So those are the two things I wanted to highlight, for these companies that we're looking at. And these are first quarter reports, so it's not based off currently right now, but I felt like first quarter was a pretty good barometer for kind of what I want to talk about today. So first, Shake Shack, purveyor of amazing gourmet burgers and shakes. I don't know if you know this, but every region that Shake Shack is in has a different milkshake for that region, which I thought was
I
kind
did
of
not
cool.
know that.
Yeah, I haven't been to Shake Shack in a while because it's in the city. Um, yeah, so but last time I was there, they had like pumpkin or like some type of like it was really weird and it was actually pretty good. But I'd like to go to like Hawaii or somewhere tropical, like maybe Florida that has like a Shake Shack and try their shake. But that's kind of their thing, and everything's very like. I mean, I don't know if you've been to Shake Shack before, but it's a very high quality. It's it's. I feel like Shake Shack is like the McDonald's for like ritzy, like fashionable
Brian,
people.
Brian, we didn't plant Brian in the chat. I promise. Uh,
It's pretty damn good stuff, man. Like I I remember I went to California one day and they didn't have it here in Seattle and I ate it. So I was there for a week and we ate it 3 times out of that week. It was pretty delicious, but do you guys have a Shake Shack around you?
I was trying. We did, and then it went away. But I think they're back now. Um, and there's another. I can't remember that. I can't remember the name. But there's another one that's starting to pop up a good bit here now too. I'll think of the name as the show goes on. But yeah, we
No
had
worries.
them for a while, but they kind of went away. But I think they're back. I wonder if
Um,
the regional shake does it have something to do with that region? Or, I mean, is it like maybe Hawaii would be like, I don't know, a
okay.
tropical fruit or so, yeah, coconut or,
I don't
something. And
I don't know. I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't. Probably should have. I probably should have done more research on like the regionals, like shakes that they're offering, because that'd be kind of cool to go to Shake Shack for like, oh, like, I mean, I don't know. That'd be kind of dumb to go on a vacation based off where the different flavors were. That'd be ridiculous. But
I
um,
always joke that people go to Myrtle Beach and the restaurant parking lot that's the most full is Red Lobster. You know, you go to the beach and you can get like fresh seafood, but
no
people,
freaking way, man.
I know,
It's got to
me
be
neither.
kids. It's got to be kids. I don't know. I don't
I
know if a
think
lot of
it's
kids that
older
love Red
people. I think
Lobster,
it's
but
older people. It's older
oh
people.
yeah,
Like they want to have what's familiar. They don't want to go somewhere and spend money on something they might not like. And Red Lobster's familiar, so they go there. It's consistent from Ohio or wherever they're coming from all the way to South Carolina. So I think that's what it is.
um, yeah. So Shake Shack. Um, and Brian, sorry, Brian. I want to say Brian, because Brian's in the chat. Brad. And the reason I want to look at these two kind of barometers here too, does does that make sense to you as far as something to be like wanting to know about a company, like in general, like rise in income and cash on hand?
I'm not sure I fully understand the benefit of cash on hand, although it looks like their numbers look good. Um, what exactly is that?
So basically, it's like Amazon always was horrendous for not having basically like huge revenues but no profit. And it was because they would reinvest the profits into the company as they were getting profits in, right? So they never had cash on hand because they were always putting it back into the company. Cash on hand basically means like, so obviously after, you know, revenue and expenses, you have cash left on hand. And so what that means is, I wouldn't say they're hoarding, but it means that they're rising in cash, that after, actual real cash that they can use and buy things. That's what that means. I hope that makes sense. I just want to ask because I
Yeah,
want to make sure that makes sense for everyone. And so, and
yeah.
again, the reason I'm looking at that is like, so if a company that is consistently growing but maybe has to borrow or doesn't have as much cash on it on them, if they have a bad quarter, it could wipe out the company. Maybe not wipe out the company, but it can wipe out the stock price. And I didn't want to put stock prices here because that always throws people off as far as like, oh, 2 grand is too much for this company, you know, or oh, $6, that sounds like a good idea. However, if you look at, would you pay $6 for a stock that has negative cash flow or in an interest rate, kind of environment kind of deal? So, um,
Not not sober, I wouldn't.
yeah, not sober, right? And it's like, so what if it's cheap? You get 100 shares of it, like zero times 100 is still zero, that kind of thing. So,
And this is this
pure
is for
logic play.
entertainment purposes, folks, by the way. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
we
And again, I don't own any of these stocks, and I'm not necessarily recommending to buy them. It's just things that I saw in typically something that people cut back on in this kind of environment that we're in. And I just thought these are kind of quote unquote anomalies, and pretty telling for the company in general too. So, and I enjoy some of these fast food restaurants as well. Chipotle was a big one that everyone just loves. It's always seems like it's. I almost call it a technology stock because it's always a growing kind of barometer. And I knew during the pandemic, man, Chipotle went like they dipped down and they pushed hard. They really benefited from the kind of transition to this new normal with how we order food, how we get it, all that stuff. So last year, first quarter, 17% year over year revenue increase, which is pretty good. And 84% year over year rise of net income, though. So, which I thought was pretty phenomenal, meaning they somehow have either exceeded their profits or have significantly reduced their expenses, again in a high inflationary, high interest rate environment. I thought that was really impressive of the company. And then on top of that, they had a 112% rise in cash. So even more so, so they're war chest in case something bad happens or they have a bad quarter. They're well positioned to weather that type of storm. So
Yeah, that's really interesting. 17% rise year over year revenue, but 84% rise of net income. So they had to have slashed expenses or something, but
yeah.
they're growing, they're expanding. We it took us a while to get Chipotle, but now there's one in every part of town.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
it's ridiculous.
yeah. And right before the pandemic, remember uh they had that lettuce scandal, like some bad
Oh my gosh, yeah.
and that kind of chopped their legs off, and then the pandemic hit. So to have rebounded and come back from that and survived, and because that was always their fresh produce, but
It's
I
so
don't remember.
good. It's so
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah.
It's it's well cut. McDonald's used to own a stake in Chipotle, and then Chipotle just branched off from McDonald's. I don't know if McDonald's still has that stake, but they kind of wanted to kind of be that umbrella of and have Chipotle as one of the ones they were going to have. But um, yeah, and the other thing too with the ones that we're talking about, like imagine that how much right wages have increased across the nation for these fast food restaurants, and benefits are being have to be paid, which is great for the employees. But I think it's crazy that these companies have adjusted to that as well, as far as you know still hitting their revenue marks and their net income, whether that be not hiring as much or slowing down hours. I don't know, but they're doing it somehow, so it's pretty good.
There's a chance they could have hit that 84% rise in net income by because it's very a la carte when you go there.
Yeah.
So everything's not free. You don't just go down the line and
Hmm.
load up. There's certain things that cost. So I'm very conscious of that. Like
Yeah.
they'll introduce a new meat and somehow it's more than
Yeah.
the regular. So I try to keep it very bare bones because I
Yeah.
don't, if I'm going to have a $15, burrito bowl, then I
I
maybe
love the
could have
burrito
gone
bowl.
somewhere else. Oh, they're great, man. I even
Yeah,
try to make
can't
it
beat
even
it.
healthier, and I'll make it a little healthier and do like a salad bowl and load it up with the meat and stuff and get vegetables and
Not me.
everything. But I don't do well.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
considerably more fit than I am, Ferd. So I'm
Oh no, man.
it makes me
I got
feel
that beer
good.
belly, brother. I got that beer belly.
You're putting the koozie to use that I sent you.
Did actually put it to use the other day, and everyone here is like, "That is the coolest koozie I've seen like in a long time." And I was like, "My buddy Brad." They're like, "Oh, Brad." So anyway, so
That's the official. Yeah, but it's if you're not careful, it'll get out of hand. But um
yeah,
their chips are really good. They're light. Yeah. Well, I might do the brown rice or something, which I don't think it's not technically brown
oh, that's
rice. It's
sacrilegious in my house, man. That's sacrilegious.
brown rice.
Just
Oh,
kidding.
I'm sure.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's sacrilegious, man. You can't do brown rice.
I just
Like a slap.
trying to do like something healthy. I can
No, yeah, I hear you.
if I think about sweets, I just gain weight, I think. And it doesn't get easier the older you get either. So
Sure, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, cool. Yeah, the Chipotle is kind of like it's the gold standard for as far as investments go. They are the gold standard for, and I would say also a barometer for the economy too. So like, um, when Chipotle's earnings reports come out next month, or I think maybe it might be late July or August, keep an eye on it for it because it's definitely become a barometer for how equities are doing. So, anyway, and then
that's interesting.
yeah, Yum Corporation, they own was it Pizza Hut, um, KFC. There's a couple of
Taco Bell.
A&W, Taco Bell, and then
Oh, I
I
forgot
think it's
about
Pizza Hut.
A&W. We don't have A&W and we don't have the Habit. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, the Habit Burgers. I've seen it here before, but I thought it was like just some random chain. But it's just like another burger spot. I'll try it out next week just for research. But um, They they're
Will you Uber Eats from the Habit next week to see what?
I don't know. Hopefully, they're not available on Uber Eats because it's probably like a 5.99 like charge or whatever. But
Yeah.
we'll see, we'll see. Um, these guys operate on more of an international scale. So whenever I think of Yum, I think of KFC and Taco Bell as the major contributors to their bottom line. I'll be going to the Philippines next month, and I swear all those two spots I listed off of, they're always doing crazy. Like there's always a line. And I mean, KFC's been over there for the past 25 to 30 years, so it's nothing new. But for whatever reason, in the Asian markets, they do really well. I would say Yum is another excuse me, another one of those barometers that kind of tells you what the overall Asian economy is doing, how that consumer is doing. Um, it hasn't grown that much as far as income, but again, that 22% year over year net income is pretty, I thought was pretty impressive, especially with the uncertainties of a global economy. You know, these are pretty gold standard brands when you think of like food, KFC and Pizza Hut, Taco Bell. Maybe not so much Taco Bell anymore, but those are pretty like those are like as American as McDonald's is, you know. So and KFC, I don't know if you go to KFC often, but Filipinos love excuse me, KFC. When my dad whenever he has a birthday, he's like, "What do you want, Dad? KFC? Okay, cool. Coleslaw, fried chicken, whatever. Cool, we'll get it." Um,
Do
they
they have competition down there? Like, are there any
and
other chicken chains in the chicken restaurant chains in the Philippines?
there's Jollibee, which is like their McDonald's. It's Filipino style McDonald's, but it's like, um, you know what's funny? Kenny Rogers is really big over in the
Hmm.
Philippines. Have you ever had that
So
before? It's
it's like
done over here,
roasted.
but
Is it like
roasted
rotisserie or
chicken, the
roasted pink?
rotisserie
Yeah.
stuff. Oh man, I can't get enough of that.
So if you're in the mood for like fried chicken, then KFC is your place. But if you want to do the like rotisserie, then they'll you'll go to Kenny Rogers. That's interesting.
Yeah, man. And I went out there and I was like, this is like not very like flavorful. It's just like lemony like chicken, but man, that place is packed. They love it. It's in the biggest mall in the world. They have like four Kenny Rogers in there, and it just cracks me up. But
Wow.
yeah, 22% year over year net income. So again, like I don't know if these companies are they getting rid of staff? Are they more concentrating on like the B2B type stuff? Um, I don't know. It's really I just thought this year over year net income was very surprising to me, like how they're cutting costs and especially with the demand and whatnot. So there's definitely demand for food. Um,
This is
am I
this is these numbers are interesting considering what we've been looking at for the last few weeks. When if people if obviously to in order to reach these goals, people have to be eating out. So yeah,
exactly and
I
all over
forgot about the Pepsi connection with Yum
mhm.
Brands.
And I think
Um,
also like obviously these have become international brands as well. So it's but like the net income is the biggest thing that really shocks me. It's like because inflation has really hit them here, um, or has hit them here, has hit like all over the world. How do you deal with that? It's pretty phenomenal. Especially all the videos I see on like Twitter and like of like these people putting up all this crap.
yeah.
And I saw the other day. I don't know in South Carolina, but they were hiring at McDonald's for $19 an hour with full benefits here.
Wow.
And managers are getting like 25 to 30 bucks an hour. That's a good that's a that's a really good wage. And the drive-throughs are just crazy, man. It's insane. I don't see a lot of traffic inside restaurants anymore, but those lines out the door, like Wendy's, for example, Wendy's didn't do very well compared to the other guys, but I feel like Wendy's doesn't have an international presence, which the other ones do have kind of a little bit of an international presence. But revenue, excuse me, 8.22% growth year over year. Net income was actually a little bit lower. And here's the big thing that kind of scares me for Wendy's: cash decrease of 119% year over year. Hey, it's my cousin is in the chat. What's up, Susanna?
Shout
Um,
out to Jeff Campbell too, who popped in while we were
oh
talking
shoot,
about
where's Jeff?
that.
Oh, what's going on, Jeff?
Thanks, man.
Um,
Appreciate you being here. And I didn't say hey to Michael Baker yet either, I don't think, but appreciate you, man, as always. He's got his Final Four rocking right here. So,
yeah,
dude, Five
yeah.
Guys is banging, and Chick-fil-A is you stay away from Chick-fil-A out there because the lines scare you off. Didn't you tell me that?
Dude, it's ridiculous. Yeah, yeah. And we talked about that, I think, last week or something like that. Five Guys I can have like once a year because it's so good, but it's so much burger. I can't finish it, man. It's good eating. And Panera actually used to be a publicly traded company, and then they were taken private because they were doing so well. Panera is one of when I was kind of small investing in my 20s, like that was one stock that my actually a girl I was dating recommended me to buy, and it did pretty well. I think I had like a 58% return on that one. So
Well,
again, everyone,
it couldn't have been too well. She's no longer around, so
that's right.
uh,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. She's no longer on. So um, Cookout. What is Cookout?
mm, dude, Cookout is so when you go get a burger and you can get it, they have like a secret menu as well, and
Mm,
you
all about the secret menus.
you can get it like a lot of people will get like cheese with grilled onions and barbecue sauce on it and stuff, and then you get a couple of sides. Well, you can get a corn dog as one of your sides. You can get a quesadilla as one of your sides. So it's like a ton of food with for $5 or $6. So
Oh man.
college students love it, and we've got a cookout here. And when we have recruits come to town, they take them to Cookout, and
Oh,
that's like one of their favorite things about coming to. I mean, I there's a lot of other things I like more than Cookout in South Carolina, but in
okay.
Columbia specifically. But that's one of the things they talk about. It's just so cool that they can go up and get, you know, I want a side, a hamburger with a corn dog and a quesadilla, and it's just so much food for nothing. So it's super popular with the younger crowd.
I
They
love
have
it.
they may have really good milkshakes too, though. They've got like 50 different milkshake combinations you can do.
A-
So
And a special sauce. So that's
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah.
Um, well, I guess I'll put that on my list of places to try when I'm roaming around the US. But yeah, Wendy's didn't do very well. I think also they're kind of specific to just one brand, where these other ones, minus Pollo Loco, they don't have other brands to kind of fall back on. But and I also think like I actually prefer Wendy's out of any. They're like the top of the food chain for fast food for me because they have such a variety of stuff. So that may also kind of hit their hit their net income or cash, all that good stuff. But the other thing too is I feel like with cash decreases like this, be on the lookout that Wendy's actually might start closing franchises because of the less cash they have on hand to keep operations going, especially in an interest rate inflationary environment that we're in right now. So that was kind of
I
the one I was kind of like, you know,
I noticed. So one of their, if you walk into a Wendy's, one of the things you see people order is a lot of them go for the $5 biggie box.
yeah,
That's like a hamburger and nuggets and fries, and it's like
hmm
a cheap, quick grab and go kind of lunch.
yeah,
I noticed today, I was in the grocery store today, they actually have canned their chili. A lot of people like their
it's
Wendy's
so
chili.
good. Oh my god, I didn't know
It's
that.
canned
I
now.
love it.
It's in Walmart. It's canned and in Walmart. So maybe some of
All
their
right,
numbers
I'm going to
reflect them
Walmart.
trying to like maybe they're trying to, branch out and do something different. And I don't know, maybe some of the numbers reflect that you know, that hey, we're gonna put our, start selling, kind of like Chick-fil-A did with the sauce and started putting the sauce in all the grocery stores and stuff.
Right.
Um,
Um,
so yeah, Chick-fil-A
yeah,
is a
we
hot one here.
Yeah, we got it looks like we got 9 in the chat, so I will do a giveaway. We'll just do like a small little kind of gift certificate to someone. I'll email them out, or if you're a comic guy, I'll send you out some books, some key books I got kind of wrapped up, ready to go. Um, the next one was Pollo Loco. That stuff is pretty good. I feel like the consistency is kind of off though. Like Chipotle's pretty consistent with how good it is, but like with Pollo Loco, it can either be really burnt chicken or like really great chicken. 40% beyond earnings expectations from last year. This is a really small company. The only one I've been to is in California, but $329 million cap with growth potential. The stock is like around $20 a share. I'm not. It might be actually less than that. It might be in the single digits. I think Wendy's is in the 20s. This Pollo Loco place is in kind of like the $6 to $7 range. Um, it beats the taste test for me. Consistency kind of doesn't do very well, but it's still a growing company, and I feel like it's kind of competing with those smaller kind of uh Mexican, like actual, like real Mexican food type restaurants. And they only serve chicken from what I remember. It's like a roasted chicken. It's pretty good though. Um, I could definitely see this being possibly acquired because of the smaller market cap by like this next company we're going to talk about next, or like a young company that wants to segment into that, you know, Hispanic food market. But yeah, like what Michael's saying is never seen on the East Coast, and cousin Susana, it is delicious, and their sauces are okay. And I think when you're eating like this type of Mexican food, you gotta have good salsas, or it's just not gonna work out because you're kind of catering to that. That's the style of the food that they serve. Have you ever? There's no El Pollo Locos where you're from, right? Have you ever heard of this company before?
I have not.
Okay,
Yeah, I have not. So
it's
here
it's
it's
West
like,
Coast.
yeah, here it's, the usual suspects. It's Taco Bell, and then if you like San Jose, like sit down restaurant style, San Jose and Monterey's are like your sit down style Mexican restaurants. And then, I mean, usually the best ones to go to are the food trucks. If
Yeah,
there's a food truck in a random parking lot and there's tons of people there, stop by and grab a taco or a burrito or something. That's
yeah. Yeah, and I think that's kind of who they're competing with. But if the taco trucks are pretty good, but the reason like growing up for me when I would go to a taco truck was because it was cheaper than like going to Taco Bell. Now it's like these taco trucks, like they're like quite a bit more expensive than your
more
actual
gourmet.
going.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, I'm not really going to you for like the. I mean, the taste is pretty damn good, but like if Pollo Loco can kind of compete with those guys and say, hey, our stuff's pretty good too, and it's cheaper, and you can go inside versus like a regular taco truck. That might be kind of a segment that they should look into. I'm not trying to run Pollo Loco, but just maybe a suggestion if they're watching. I don't know, whatever. But and then lastly, the last one I was gonna mention. Yeah, the only one I've been to is in LA and San Diego, but I I could see them doing pretty well up here to compete with the taco trucks. But yeah, Restaurant Brands International. Um, this is a company that is again an umbrella of some other fast food restaurants you may or may not know about, specifically Popeyes. They bought Popeyes out like I want to say a year and a half, 2 years ago. Tim Hortons, which is really popular in Canada. I mean, it's like the Dunkin' Donuts of Canada. Burger King, which I never knew about this, but Firehouse Subs. Do you have a Firehouse Subs? I never heard of that company before.
Yeah, we have them. Yeah, we've got them. Um, there's yeah, hey, thanks, man. We appreciate you. I hope you feel better. Yeah, we do have Firehouse Subs. They're uh I don't know. I mean, it's Firehouse themed, and I think they do stuff. I think the original owner was associated with it in some way. Um,
Mm,
but their subs are pretty good. Yeah, they're very light and kind of I don't know. I think they maybe make their own bread or something too, but they're pretty good. They're solid.
okay.
Maybe even more flavorful than like, sometimes you get Subway and it's kind of bland, just like, it's just not a ton of flavor. And I hate to
Yeah, it's just
like load it down with condiments and stuff to give it flavor, but this is a flavor like the meat tastes fresher,
like the
maybe kind of like between a Jersey Mike's and a whatever would
Oh,
fall
I
between
love
Jersey
Jersey
Mike's
Mike's.
and Subway. Yeah, Jersey Mike's
Yeah.
is solid. Yeah. Yeah,
It's
anytime
so it sounds
they're
like
doing it right in front of you like that.
so it sounds like it's like a an elevated Subway versus like Subway's kind of like, okay, I kind of know what I want. I want something simple and cheap. I'm in and out kind of thing. But Subway's kind of getting
Yeah.
expensive too. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
Michael Baker.
$5 foot dog doesn't $5 foot long doesn't exist anymore, I don't think. They haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, I think it's just like I think guys like our age just kind of know for consistency of going there when we were kids, right? So, Michael, you got to go in and out, man. Like you just have to do it. Do double animal style. Do the fries animal style. Do your burger animal style. Ask for jalapenos. It's they're fast. It's good quality food, and go to the beach and eat it on the beach, man. That's my. This is like coming from a dude who's not from California. I'll vouch for them all day. Um, let's see here. I think to kind of go over their numbers real quick. 9.58% year over year revenue increase. Net change our net change cash increase of 24.48%. So, again, the other thing too that you should kind of take a look into when I was talking about these stocks is the companies those are double digit increases in cash that they're keeping on hand. So I think it's really smart too that okay, we don't need to expand right now unless we see a really good deal, right? We need to hoard our cash, put it in other investments or hedge against like other expenses and not reinvest it in the company, maybe not expand. I know other companies are doing that, but that's something I saw pretty consistent with these earnings reports that I saw and something to kind of take into account. And yes, Prima Subway is outrageous. No
Oh,
cost
that's
17 bucks.
absurd.
I went and
No
got a
way.
turkey club. It was like a 12-inch for like 12 and I was like, man, I must this don't make no sense, you know.
Yeah,
Um
you can get a smaller sandwich at Jersey Mike's is more
Jersey
filling
Mike's
because
is superior to Subway
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Um Yeah, so real quick, I don't have a lot on real estate stuff just because numbers really aren't in, but I wanted to show kind of like what a mid-priced home costs in Seattle area. Um, this is what you get for 600 grand here in Seattle. You get this beautiful two-bedroom townhome. It's a brand new build. However, there's no way to buy this house because it doesn't include one thing that is very important to I think a lot of homeowners. What do you think it doesn't include just from the looks of it?
A garage or
A
parking of
garage.
some. Yeah.
This house is in like North Seattle, so about 15 to 20 minutes with no traffic north of downtown. And sure, there are a lot of walkways and there are a lot of bus routes to get to Seattle back and forth and where you need to go. However, there is no interior garage. There is a parking spot like I think like what do you call it? Specific to this particular unit, but and my beautiful wife, she says, yeah, she's correct, garage. And 600K, man, that's what gets you in Seattle, which I just think is absurd. I don't I when I talk to real estate agents here and I say like, man, how are you guys like selling this to people that doesn't have a garage? And really honestly, they were like, yeah, I mean, I drive everywhere, but that's my job, right? I think people just either they are buying a $600,000 home and don't have a car, or it's just not that important to them. They're just more location based, and everybody's different. But 600 grand at these high interest rates, there's no
Is that
garage.
the
I mean,
front? Is that the front of the building?
that is the front of the building. So this unit is particularly so it's that green one on the right. I don't really know exactly what's in the middle, but it's the 1609 unit
Probably
is
the
this one,
bedrooms and stuff. The
right?
like a 3-story with bedrooms. But I'm like,
Yeah.
why did they put all the electrical stuff on like the meter and everything on the front of the building? It's so
I thought that was
unattractive.
odd too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very unattractive. That's
So
interesting.
like this is just like it's just are you just like what the hell when you see
Yeah.
something like this?
At that
And
point, you just don't care. Like you're not even trying, builders.
cool because I wanted like your and this is what's so great about the shows because like Um, I don't know a lot about real estate, and it's nice getting your perspective living on the East Coast, specifically in South Carolina, because like this is like when I was house hunting a couple years ago, I would see this and like there was one time where I was like, all right, I think I can manage without having a garage. And I was like, what the hell am I talking about? Like I have a car, that would be so. And this is just a fact of life. This isn't political or anything like that, but like there have been increases of break-ins into cars. Like, I mean, I lived in Capitol Hill and my car, or I was um, borrowing my wife's car at the time, and her car got broken into, and it was just on the side of the street. And so that extra layer of security is worth an extra 50 grand to me. Maybe not an extra 100,000, but like I just think it's really crazy. I just wanted everyone to see how funny Seattle is, and we're not like New York where we have a subway system where you really don't need a car. Like you still need a car, especially if you live in this area. So anyway, I just thought it was really, really interesting this show. But versus Charleston, which you get this amazing
Like
house. Let's talk about
magnificent
it.
looking beach house. So
Jesus
yeah, I saw
Christ.
I saw this, and Charleston can be real. It can be very expensive, and we talked a little bit about Daniel Island is
Yeah.
on is a separate area that's divided by a waterway from the mainland of Charleston, and and then it's Daniel Island, Mount Pleasant, then Charleston, then another little waterway, and then there's Johns Island. So this would be slightly southwest of Charleston proper. So yeah, this is new construction. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 2,860 square feet. And how like houses can get very expensive in the Charleston area. Johns Island, coastal design, and this also is new construction. So it's interesting that we paired both of those together to kind of see the difference. And just because, so those of you who have not been to South Carolina, Charleston is like it's a kind of ritzier area. But it's interesting that that actually seems kind of cheap for that, actually.
I
It's
mean, tacking on her another, 50 grand. I think I mean, 700 is what I mean, I'd probably pay more than 700, like for that house, just the looks of it. But yeah, you get a lot more bang for your buck over in Charleston versus
it
that
yeah, two
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 bedroom,
car
two bath.
garage. Yeah, two-car garage. But it looks like something if you were going to the beach with your family and y'all were
Yeah,
renting a house for the week, like
yeah,
it kind of has that look to it.
sure.
With the porch and the rocking chairs and all that southern charm.
Southern charm.
Um,
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, interesting.
Cool. And real quick, credit. It's more of a financial tip versus credit tip, but um, I saw this quote from Dave Chappelle. I don't understand the person, so I don't understand this person, so they're crazy. That's bullshit. And it wasn't. I thought it was kind of funny, and it's kind of what we were alluding to earlier in the show is every person's like different in their home buying process, how they value things. Everyone's different, right? Like yeah, like for example, like with me, like I need a garage. I would need to have a garage if I bought a house now. There's just no way about it, and especially for 600 grand. Like there's just no way could justify not having a garage. However, that house will probably sell in a month, to someone who doesn't need a garage and sees that as a waste of space. So to each his own. Everyone's different, and we just know that in any type of like whatever in your life, but. And then my kind of credit check for the day is check your statements for charges that don't make sense. I just saw a video on Twitter of all places of this company that scams people, and I don't know how they do it, but somehow you cancel your subscription somewhere, and this third party somehow finds a way to charge you for half the amount, so it's very small, but it keeps going every month. And over time, this one person had like an $8 charge that they didn't know of for a year. So, if you don't pay attention to your statements and just check over every little thing, it's really easy. Just go online, sign in, just check every month and just say, hey, I don't remember signing up for this, or maybe you did sign up for something and didn't intend to. It could save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars down the line. And just take 5 minutes out of your day, look at all your credit card statements, all your checking account statements, and just be aware of what's going on. I just thought it'd be a good tip for everyone. Brad, I don't know if you're really good at doing that type of stuff, but do you go through like me, like a nerd, just looking at every single transaction every day that goes through all your credit cards or debit cards?
I don't. You saying that I'm guilty of not doing that as well. But I'm sure there's stuff that gets put on there, and they just and a lot of times I'm sure they're rolling the dice that most people are like me and they don't check. Michael, you're definitely not coming to South Carolina. I can check a couple of those boxes, but not the colder rather than hotter. I'm not able to accommodate you there.
And yeah,
So
and yeah, Jeff, yeah, just something really simple. Like I try not to complicate things, but like it sounds like really dumb, but it's all like I did it because I learned my lesson when I was like a kid, and so ever since then I just always look up everything. Um, and you have nowadays the tools are so easy. You don't have to call like back in 2001 and be like, "This is first statement, blah blah blah. Would you like to hear about the next one?" Beep, and then you go through. It's all at your fingertips. I literally you could look at your phone and look up all this stuff. So, just a little tidbit for everybody, and do it right after the show. That's what you all should do. That's your homework for tonight. So, just kidding.
we will be asking next week, by the
We
way.
will be asking questions and giving prizes out to everybody. Just kidding. Um, cool, man.
So
What you got?
yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about what one of the things that I often hear. Oh god, that's such a hassle, man. That is such a hassle to deal with. One of the things that we see, one of my objections I see a fair amount is I'll wait until the interest rates uh, come down. I'll wait till the interest rates come down or interest rate comes down. Um, and so how I've started combating that, I mentioned earlier, I am going to what is this? Sorry, I keep getting that. I thought I turned my phone on silent. One of the ways I combat that, I mentioned earlier, I wanted to talk a little bit about how I initiate a couple of showings yesterday, and we went to see one of the showings, and one of the ways we were able to win that, we put an offer in. I worked till about, I don't know, 10 p.m. last night, somewhere thereabouts, to get it over there. And we had a verbal acceptance by, right before lunchtime. So that was nice. But so the price on the listing had come down. It was about a $230,000 listing, and they had dropped the price to 215,000. So that tells me, all right, we've got some, as a representing a buyer, I always see that as an opportunity. So that's why I sent it to my client was, hey, let's check it out. I mean, if the layout works, your clients tend to follow your lead. So if you walk into a place and just every house you go into, you're constantly saying, hey, let's look past the clutter, let's look past everything, and let's just see the layout. Does the layout work for you? And if the layout works for you, we can get all this stuff. I've got a great cleaning lady. She's very reasonably priced. We'll get her in here and take care of all that stuff for you. So look past the paint, look past the clutter, and just see the opportunity and see if it works for you. So when the price was reduced, I told him, I said, we've put in 2 other offers and missed out. They were very competitive. A lot of people lined up to see the listings that we've been to. This one, kind of took our time. It had been on the market for a little bit, so they realized it was probably listed for a little higher than it should be. So we go in, and I said, "All right, well, there's a couple of angles. If this is the one you like, there's a couple of angles we can take. One, why don't we do? Let's offer 215,
Hmm.
but for the first time in forever, I got $5,000 in closing costs. Got the seller to pay 5,000 in closing costs.
That's great.
Then I got a home
Oh,
warranty. The seller's
oh,
paying for a first year home warranty, so another $535
yeah,
there.
good money.
I'm waiting on my guy to initial. The one thing we conceded was, hey, if they're paying for the closing costs, they would like to choose the attorney. It's somebody I've used anyway, so I'm comfortable with them. So I was like, sure, that sounds good. And in these negotiations, it's really about win-win, like everybody feeling like they got something out of it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, as soon as I just texted him to like, hey, okay, he's DocuSign it. So I was
Oh,
keeping
cool,
him off my
great.
phone. Yeah, so we're I've got to ratify it and send it over, and I'll be scheduling inspections tomorrow. So yeah, that's those are opportunities. And if you work with somebody who sees that and kind of, I've been talking to him along the way, so we're prepared for that. But he's one of the clients I have who is renting, and that we've talked about it on other shows, that idea that, well, I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry to I'm not in a hurry to move. Well, you're not in a hurry to move in the sense that you won't be homeless because you're living in a you're living in an apartment. But uh how about, you look at this chart I thought was really interesting. I watched a really good program this week, YouTube video, kind of conference call type thing. And this is one of the slides that they reference. So you've got the inflation rate, and then is the blue line, and the orange line is the rent growth. So basically saying, as the rent increases, so does or as the inflation increases, rent follows it, and right in line with it pretty much. So
Hmm.
inflation goes up, so the cost of goods is higher, and they raise the cost of your rent. So then you're really just getting like double whammied on this stuff. So my challenge was, we've taken, so he ended up re-upping his lease, and he's got a studio that's between 14 and 1500. So one
Wow.
bedroom, yeah, it's crazy. But we're in a college town, so they can command that price for that. So it's over 1400. And I said, all right, you've re-upped. They've told you they're going to raise your rent. You accepted that. You can get out of it. It'll cost you some money to break the lease, but that's there. So we've eliminated the stress of what happens if all these dominoes don't fall at the right time, and it's like, once we've taken that stress away, now let's start having your money work for you. So instead of having this, this thing that you're renting, you're paying somebody else's mortgage or whatever, paying for their investment. Let's put that, in your pocket. You get to write off the interest on the mortgage. And if you'll go to the next slide, this kind of falls in line with this, because we're seeing, so not only according to a recent survey, 65.1% of landlords say they plan to raise the rent of at least one of their properties within the next 12 months. So when inflation is,
And,
this is a great point. Go ahead.
oh, and if you are renting, one thing to kind of protect yourself and maybe also be aware. This is what I send to clients just to inquire about it. I don't give them a specific website, but if they're able to research what the market rent for their particular type of unit or home in that particular market area, they can kind of see, oh shoot, I'm right at the market or I'm like 200 or $300 below, if my landlord finds out and wants to screw me over, not screw me over, but like wants to adjust for market rents, then I need to figure out if it's worth it to me to pay that extra amount, or is it worth it to me to go get a house? Something kind of to, and I always tell people that are on the fence about that too.
and
So anyway,
and,
go ahead.
and think about, if I would say, even if you're in the middle of a year long lease, there's some fee which you that you can pay to break your lease. If you find the right house, I think there is some benefit to breaking your lease to navigate this and like start paying yourself, because we aren't going to see the crazy highs that people saw in the last year, but we're going to see a little more stable growth, and the next slide will illustrate that for us. So this is projection from, so we've got Fannie Mae is the blue bar, and they're kind of modest projection. Now um this kind of shows you where, how things started, like pandemic era, and kind of evolved. Um but so they have a modest projection for the end of the year on this one. Freddie Mac is a little more aggressive, and then MBA, which is Mortgage Bankers Association, is
Mhm.
considerably more. But I would say, let's just say they've all picked a number that's within the range that's the normal range, without pandemic stuff, without anything going on. This is you can pretty much expect 3 to 5%, which we've mentioned previously, as a normal rate of appreciation for your home. So now the flip side
Healthy.
of this is, if you're renting and you're waiting to buy, this is still happening.
Yeah.
So the value is increasing, and it's progressively increasing. I mean, it's this is helpful in two ways. One, encouragement to buy, to start putting your money in your pocket. And I told my client yesterday, I said, look, if you find something you like, I mean, I don't want you to buy something you don't like just because you're renting, but if you find something that works for you, it's in an area that you like, pull the trigger. And you're young, so let's say 5 years down the road, you meet someone, you get engaged, y'all talking about your forever. um I'm stuck in rent. I was looking at Jeff's comment there. I'm stuck in rent right now, as we talked about a while back, but we are under market by probably $400. That's good. So you're getting a discount for your uh the fact that you're there, and you're consistent, and um dependable. So they're cutting you some slack there. But that's the thing, man. Landlords are seeing these same headlines that we keep talking about each week. They know they can get more, so they're not scared to, oh, well, what if I say it's going up $400 and they walk and I can't rent it? They're not worried about not renting that place. It'll be gone in a week. They're
Mhm.
not, by the time they get it cleaned and ready for somebody to move in, somebody has filled out an application and snagged it. So they're not worried about it. But
Yeah.
I told him, I said, and I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, real quick, just and the other thing too is like you usually see rent coming down when there's no demand for housing, and like we've been saying for the past 7 episodes, that that want for a home is still there. So, just as much as you guys can do, like protect yourselves and just be aware of the tools or whatnot. Jeff, that's awesome that you're able to be under the market. I think for it's harder to do that like in apartment complexes, I feel, because it's owned
Yeah.
by a corporation versus like an actual person that you probably have some type of relationship with. But that kind of old school landlord doesn't really exist anymore. It's they have the tools to, or landlords have the tools to hit market. And so, and even for some odd reason they're not able to find a tenant that they want to rent to, they can sell the house and get like, 100 to 200 grand from all the equity that they've had, depending on how long they've had the property for. Um, yeah. So, and that's great.
That's a really
And
good
Jeff,
situation.
you're in a really, yeah, amazing situation. I hope your owner is just, still cool with you about it. I'd encourage to keep that relationship, with the landlord, yeah.
It try to be a I would suggest being somewhat progressive. If you do aspire to own, and you're off, you're below market, maybe try to squirrel away the difference, or just
Mhm.
say, hey, let's start with half that. Let's say if we're 400 under market, I'm going to take $200 every month and put it up, or every pay period and put it up, or whatever, and just start squirreling it away, and at least use that benefit. What usually happens is that money just gets absorbed. You're just high fiving each other. See if you can, see if you can pocket some of that and kind of get some traction for yourself. And I think that would be, if you can swing it, that would be a really smart thing to do. But yeah, I told my client, I was like, hey, in five, let's get you out of the rent game, and 5 years, you get engaged or whatever happens, life is adjusting. You can sell it in 5 years. You've got an appreciable asset then, so we can sell it in 5 years, and you can get your next phase in life home. But so many people think about home purchase as, you're buying what you need now, not what you're going to need in 5 or 10 years. That can be very different. So up next, we got the quote. If you always, so I did Bruce Lee because we were running out of, we were
People.
the Ted Lasso was getting tough to inspirational, but it was a lot more specific. Awesome, dude. That is great, man. Fantastic. Good for you. Yeah, you're ahead of the game then. That's awesome. So this is one of my favorite Bruce Lee quotes, and I actually have it. It's on the wall right there. Um, if you always put limit on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work and into your life. There are no limits. There are only plateaus, and you must not stay there. You must go beyond them. So
Hmm.
people think they get to the end when it's just you've just leveled off. There's
Mhm.
more. You're not at the top of the mountain yet. You got to keep working and keep striving. So I like that one. I apply that to my business quite a bit.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, and it's like, with that kind of message too, it's, you always see this, thing, right? And I feel like when you're younger, you kind of see it that way, or you set these expectations of being in it, wherever you want to be in your career. But you know, the way to go up, it's never like linear. It's always. I mean, I was like, you
Winding,
know,
yeah, the winding road to get to
and
the
yeah, and sometimes you have to go through that kind of tough time in your life to really realize, oh, if I can get through this, um, I can definitely do this, that type of thing too. So, um, but yeah, I don't know if anyone
do.
has any,
I was just. Do we want to do the giveaway?
unless anyone had any questions, we can do the giveaway.
Sweet. Yeah, we're
Um,
I appreciate you guys being here and showing up and just having a good time. Man, this is a lot more fun. Look at you, man. You're so far ahead of the game.
I
Um
was,
I thought I was
I
gonna have
actually,
to
I went
remind.
through and typed everyone's name. No, I typed everyone's names as kind of we were talking, man. I'm a
Excellent.
seasoned veteran when it comes to this,
I tell you, man,
YouTube
yeah,
game. No, I'm just kidding.
this is not your first rodeo.
It
That's
definitely isn't. No, no, no. But yeah, like Brad said, we got 7 live today. We are at 9 at one point. Thanks everyone for joining. I know I said I need 10 to do a giveaway, but shoot, man, you guys have been really great and just feeling the feels today. So I figure we'll do a little giveaway. Either I was gonna do like a $5 gift card to Starbucks, or like if you're like the majority of people here are comic nerds, I was gonna send some key books. Um, we'll see if I can scrounge around one of those Miles keys that I have. But either way, we'll do a little giveaway. So
yeah, we
no,
appreciate you,
man,
Jeff. That's
Jeff,
awesome,
no,
man. Thank you.
it's all good. I understand. Me and Jeff, we talk every once in a while on DMs, and um, no, man, I just appreciate you coming through, and the questions are always great. If you guys have suggestions of either what you like Brad to talk about as far as real estate, or like what questions you have about like buying a home, or if you currently already own a home and like trying to like maybe I don't know redo your shower like I am, and just have financing questions and how that could benefit you, let us know like in our Instagram. I think everyone here follows our Instagram and subscribes to our channel. And then also like the first part of the show, I typically talk about like equities and just stocks that like I kind of look into. If there's like a sector of stocks or you know of anything you want to know, like let me know, because I have a ton of ideas. However, if you guys don't really care about it, I don't want to waste your guys' time. So or and Brad, let me know too, like what suggestions like you would think as far as stocks are concerned,
Yeah.
and all
Yeah,
that. So
it's been I'm usually quiet during that segment because I'm soaking it in because I'm learning something just like everybody
oh,
else.
good,
So, yeah,
good, good.
I like that segment. That's really good.
I I hope you guys enjoy it too. It's really my initial passion into just stuff because I just love how things work, and I like to see money move and all that stuff. So, but yeah, let's do the giveaway. Mr.
Oh
James
boy.
Ryder. All right, Mr. Carman himself. James, hit me up on either OTR, on Instagram, on whatever. Let me know if you prefer a gift card to Starbucks or some comic book key books and all that good stuff. Appreciate you always coming through, and your general knowledge about finance is really intriguing to me as well.
Yeah,
Brad,
thank you, Michael. That's very very kind of you. We appreciate that. Very
oh,
nice.
cool. Um,
Yeah, and thanks,
I don't
Jeff.
know anything about stocks. It would be great to learn. Yeah, I'm here to kind of dial it down a little bit. I think when people try and talk about equities, myself included, is like there's so much stuff to look into, but everything kind of changes. And I try and tone it down to things that you should like really specify on to look into versus like kind of the bigger picture. And I'll try and be as transparent as possible about that too.
Yeah, you guys put yeah, you got
Okay,
for those of you
cool.
who are oh,
Thanks,
cool.
James.
That's cool. Thanks, man. Um, yeah, that's let us know. I think most of you guys are in the Discord or we're connected on Instagram. Let us know. Yeah, anything that you guys think about that you're curious about, we'll do that as a segment, like Ferd was saying. We want to provide the information that right now we're
Curious about.
going on what we think you might want to hear. If you have something specific, and a lot of times it's really cool because it happens organically. You guys mentioned something in the chat, and that's what we love about having you guys live is being able to ask those questions and stuff. So that's great. Now if you happen to be watching on the rewind, just leave us a comment, obviously a thumbs up, leave us a comment, and we'll go back and double check those and make sure we want to provide you with we did this with the intent of providing you the information that you want to know.
Yeah, and let everybody else know. Anyone else you think would want to watch the show and like ask questions, and just trying to help people save their money and possibly invest it or like buy a home or just figure out the whole kind of situation. And again, I just want to thank everybody for coming out. We'll see you next week. I'll be on tomorrow on the OTR's channel, and on Saturday, me and Pickles are back. We're going to talk about our summer con convention and some other things to look out for. So we will
So
see you next week.
quick question: is your wife
Yeah.
joining you for the recap? Y'all should do Y'all should do a recap together, man.
um, who knows? Maybe she might join. I
Maybe a
don't know. We'll
special, so
see.
maybe a special guest on Saturday, folks.
She was astounded at all like she's the nerd talk that we were all talking about and stuff. And oddly enough, Jason and I we didn't look at any comic books, so that was really really weird. We were all about the video games and just we saw Jesse the Body Ventura like in person next to Jason Priestley. It was a really weird assortment of people, but it was fun nonetheless. So we had a
So
good time.
can't wait to watch.
All right. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. Thanks again for your support. And James, I will pay it forward. We'll do a $10 gift card next week. So we'll see you guys next week.